Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be repairing both of these AMSs. They both had the same fault, which is AMS assist motor overload. I'll take you through a couple of troubleshooting exercises you can do. Typically this happens in one specific slot on your AMS. For this one though, it was happening on every slot no matter which one I used. Typically the cause of fault for that is the PTFE tubes have been blown out. And if you don't know what that means, I'll show you on this machine what that looks like. But we're gonna check the PTFE tubes on here. We're gonna replace them. This is my oldest AMS and that is my second oldest AMS. This one went bad at about, I don't know, 2,000-ish hours, which isn't that bad really. So I'm going to rip this apart, show you how to tear it down, and then I'll also show you the tools you need to tear it down. So I'll set this to the back right here. The tools you need to tear it down, you don't have to have a fan tick or anything like that. You just need this one part, which is a long reach hex head. I believe this is a 2.0, and it is, it's a 2.0. And then you need something to use it with. I like using this thing. I don't like the electric ones as much, especially if I'm dealing with plastic screws. So I'm gonna set these off to the side as much as I can. That's the only tool you need, realistically. And then the other thing you need, of course, are replacement parts. So this is a PTFE tube kit. I have another tube kit in here. I have a AMS hub and AMS cords. This is just a little repair kit I keep. But I really only need the PTFE tubes. These are the replacement motor parts. So this is the active extrusion wheel assembly. This is what grabs the filament at the back side of the AMS here and feeds it out. And then this right here is the internal hub motor, and that is the motor that connects to that to feed it out. So I'm going to maybe replace those. I'll check the PTFE tubes. This one was having a problem on every single PTFE tube location. So hopefully we can fix that with just PTFE tubes, and if not, then that sucks and I have to replace the motor, but it's not that bad. These are just lid risers for the old Protopasta spools that used to be part of my normal thing, but this is just to rise the lid so nothing scrapes on the lid, because you can see the marks in there. Maybe you can or can't, but first thing we need to do is obviously take out the PTFE tube on the back, which has already been done. This has been MIA for a while. There's two screws in these back holes right here. So there's one there, one there. Just gonna want to stick this down in there, and I might already have these ripped out. I don't know. I didn't do any prepping before this video like I normally do. There's one, but the one over there just doesn't want me to reach it. Just little plastic screws. Most of the time I actually take these out and I don't put them back, but for this I'm going to put them back. Set my screws off to the side. All right, now this is not very difficult. There are two connections on the back of this that you do not want to mess up. So you want to push. There's a little PTFE release there. You're gonna have to push it down and kind of bend the lid of this plastic out just a little bit to pop that up. Once you pop that up, there are two connections down there on that motherboard. You can just grab and pull these straight up. And then this whole unit just comes out. So, just as I feared, this one doesn't have any blowout on the PTFE tubes. We're gonna check them anyways. Obviously you have your motherboard. This is the AMS internal hub motor, and that's the active extrusion gear right there, which gears to this motor. So the first thing we're gonna do is check PTFE tubes. So you'll just press and release here on all of these. And there we go. And now you can release these PTFE tubes. It's kind of a pain. It's easier if you take this hex head long reach and you reach down in and you press on the release. So these PTFE tubes are a little worn through, but not that bad. I don't know if I can even show you that, but you can see how it's no longer an oval. Maybe I can. You see how it's no longer a circle shape anymore? So, I mean, it's probably time to replace them anyways, but from what I can tell, it's not going to fix my issue to just replace these. All of them are worn about the same. And if you guys are wondering where the release is, it's just a PTFE clicked in there. It's kind of a pain. You got to be kind of careful too. But yeah, they're all looking the same. They're almost worn out, but not quite. Since I have it open, I'll replace them. So those aren't my problem. My problem, and this is what I bought these two parts for, is actually this motor hub right there. So I think I'm going to zoom in for you guys and try and take this out as easy as possible. I'll put you on 2x, maybe a 5x. All right, we'll 5x it for you guys. Sorry for the shake there. And I'll show you what I'm doing. So first thing I'm going to do is pull out that screw right there, that screw right there, and that screw right there. And I'm going to try and stay out of the light while I do this. This is a fairly simple process, not very difficult at all, although it would have been nice if Bamboo would have, you know, made this accessible from the outside of the AMS, kind of like Creality did. There's actually 4 down here. There's a screw here, and then there's another screw hidden right there that you guys can see. Kind of difficult doing this while standing up. Usually I'm sitting down. So once that happens and you get those 4 out, you're good to pull this whole thing up. Now there's 2 ways you could do this. You could disconnect this motor, which we're gonna have to do anyways. So disconnect that cable up there, which you guys can't see. So let me zoom you back out and plug this back in real quick. Where'd it go? Plug this back in so you guys can see what I did. But it's pretty self-explanatory. All right, zoom you guys back out here. Tilt you up there. Go for a 2x. So this is the motor control wiring. We're just going to disconnect from the motherboard. So the motor is now free. And then there are 2 ribbon cables right here to disconnect. And I don't know which one's which. This one has a white tape on it. And I'm assuming it matches the white tape over here. And it does. So I'm going to disconnect this one right there. And then that is the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is a 4. So this 4 looks like it is right here. All right. So you need to disconnect that one, and that one. And then this should theoretically just pop right out. Now, of course, the cables are kind of tucked under the cable ties in there, which pop out to that direction. So I'm going to remove both of these. And you probably don't need to pull this whole entire unit out, but I'm going to just because. And what we're interested in is getting this extrusion gear out and this hub motor out. So let's figure out how to do that. Wheel in there. 1.5 underneath. We're going to release these. This should gain access right to the extrusion wheel. I need to see if that's worn out or not. And if it's not, then it's not really a big deal. I don't need to replace it. But with how many hours this has on it, and I did quite a few abrasives on this guy, it wouldn't surprise me. So those are all 1.5s. Pull it up and then loosen it a little bit more. Those are quite long screws. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit surprising there. And I'm not gonna cut this at all. I'm gonna try and keep this as straightforward as possible so you guys can just see everything I'm doing. All right, that should allow me access into that extrusion wheel there. So you guys will get to see it first, just like me here. Pop that off. All right, a little bit of debris build up in there. You can see kind of the dust that's built up right there. That's not that bad. I'm gonna spin this now to check the wheel. So I'm gonna spin this and look at the teeth. Teeth look good. Let's compare it to another one. So this is the active extrusion wheel. Let's pull this open and see what she looks like. I'm pretty sure the wheel looks exactly the same as if it was new, because that is. So this is what a new one looks like. And the wheels look, sorry about that. The wheel looks exactly the same. That toothed gear there, that toothed one. That's what pulls the filament. It looks the same, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's see if I can get a little closer detail without my eyes through a camera. And it looks fine, so I'm not too worried about that. And now if you want to pop it out, all you have to do is pop that up and out. And it's a little stuck in there, but that's okay. So I just popped that straight out. All right, so I had to play around a little bit. I had to pull out the 2 screws that go there, which if you have this closed right here, let me close this back up real quick. It's not as scary as I thought it was. There's 2 screws there you have to pull out, 2 screws there you have to pull out, and then 2 screws inside of there that you have to pull out. And once you do that, you can open up the trackway, which is the 4-way splitter essentially, and just be gentle with that, right? And you can kind of see the 4-way track in there. It is pretty dirty, so I think I'm just going to wipe that out real quick. And then these are your sensors that tells it whether or not there's filament. But now we can access that screw right there that I couldn't access before. So we'll just take and swap this. Oh, come on. So now we'll just take and pull this screw out. They are red Loctited in. So let's pull that out. I already did the other one because it was easy to reach. I didn't have to do anything. And then this motor should just pop right out, just like that. So now I'm going to keep this open. I'm going to clean this track out a little bit. And probably go get a Q-tip or something to do that. And then I'm going to put it back together. And these all, by the way, just pop right out. So if you drop it, don't worry, you're not going to break anything. I'm trying to hold it as steady as possible for you guys. All right, so I'm back, and I'm just going to set this up to the side right now, or to the top. So this is my new extrusion wheel. That is my AMS assembly. I'm just going to make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing. Try and get this centered for you. Here's what I'm going to use to clean it. 91% isopropyl alcohol. Then I had some Q-tips in my hand. I'm pretty sure I did. But of course they're white and they blend into a table. And then some Q-tips. So obviously this is a pretty simple process. Sorry about that. Let's move you guys back a little bit. You get a little bit closer here. Make sure you guys are still on point. All right. So we'll just take some isopropyl. Little dab like that. We'll go into these grooves in here. And we will just wipe it out. It looks like that wheel is a little dirty in there. So let's give it a nice little cleaning. The remaining checking for those, the trying to clean these grooves out. So let's get the little dust out. And then same thing down here. Some more of that and clean it out back there. All right, so I cleaned that. That was very simple, very easy. Now it's time to pop on the new hub motor. And so just to recap so far what we've done. Excuse me there, sorry about that. The dust got to me. We're replacing the motor. In order to replace the motor, the easiest way, I guess in my eyes, is to remove these 6 screws on the outside. These are the 2 screws holding the motor. And that hold the top tray to the bottom tray, which is your path of travel for the filament. I removed a screw here. You did not need to remove that screw. That is my bad. Won't do that next time. And then we had to remove the back plate here, which was 4 little black plastic screws right here. I only have 3 of them. There's a 4th one somewhere. I know there is. It's here on the table. Just got to find it. I set it over there. And then it was basically good to go at that point. So we had to remove those 4 so we could take off the other side of this, which is that assembly right there, which is how this sits in there. So now we should be good to go. I'm going to pop this motor back on here, and it probably matters how it goes, but it can only line up one way. So, okay, so there's a keyed hole there. Right there, that's keyed to match that top hole, and the other 2 holes are threaded. So once you get it on there, it's a pretty simple fit. Then we just need to take, this is a 2.0. We will take and use. You could re-Loctite them if you want, but I don't really see a purpose in that. And it is metal to metal for the screws, so just remember that, metal to metal. So you can tighten them, you can herc on them a little bit, just don't crack the housing. And then screw on the bottom of the motor there, that's the easy one to remove. Just trying to do this without flipping it over so I don't have to keep doing this. And then you are good to close this. Make sure everything seats properly, because if it doesn't, you'll know. So that one didn't seat properly when I did it. I'm gonna back up. This guy needs to be pushed in a little bit better. All right, that one's seated properly. Looks like we're good to go. So now motor's attached. We're seated properly. And now I'll put in these 6 screws. These are all 1.5s. And they are plastic screws. So I'm gonna get a little closer for you guys so you can see where they went. Oh, well, apparently those are magnet under there. Hey now, hey. All right, magnet there. Gotta be careful. I might pull the screw away from you. So there's one there. Don't go too tight on these. It is plastic, or metal to plastic, which means you could strip out these screws fairly easy. Just full fair warning to anybody attempting this. And if you guys are curious, I didn't follow the wiki at all. I probably should have, but that's okay. Another screw there. All right. Oh, I picked up all 3 at once. Just need one. So, oh no, I dropped it. It's okay, it landed on the table. Another screw here. Another screw here on the back. And then I dropped that one right here somewhere. I know I have a magnetic screwdriver, so I should be able to just pick it up. There it is. All right. And then the last 6th screw right there. So now I'll kind of tip this and show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we did pull out this little screw right here, this little silver guy, from this little motherboard right here. Didn't need to do that. That was a no-go. Don't need to do that. Doesn't do anything for us. Make sure this still turns freely. Okay. Now we need to insert into here our active extrusion wheel, which is this guy. So all you have to do is line it up, pop it in, just like that, and then put in these 4 black plastic screws down there. Take this piece, make sure you get bearing side down, pop it in place, and then there's 4 of them, so I'm just going to try and set them in here before I start tightening for these ones. Recommendation, do like you would a car tire and alternate, especially because you want even pressure across the bearings. So tighten these down. And you'll feel the extrusion wheel straighten when you do that. So just a heads up. And you want to crisscross them. Don't tighten one side down then the other side down, because you could cause it to kind of fall out of, I'm going to call it plumb or level. So you want to try to avoid that. And after all of them are in now, give them one little go around. This is plastic to plastic, so you got to be a little careful. You could strip these out and then it wouldn't work anymore. You'd have to fill it with plastic again. And just like that, the extrusion wheel is attached. Give it a nice free spin. Make sure it turns the motor's gears, and it does, no problem. So now we're good to put this back into the AMS. So I'll clean up here a little bit. And let's get that done. Have to do anything with them. They should be captured because of little plastic grommets to assist with vibration. And then we're just going to tighten them in. I would again do these in a crisscross formation so you don't over tighten them and misalign something. All right, looks like we're good. These aren't tightened all the way yet. I'm just making sure I get them fairly tight. And then, like that one, didn't even want to tighten all that much. So don't over tighten these, they don't like it. That's what this bushing's on here for, to stop you from doing that. Give it a nice little jiggle test. Everything's good. Now I need to reconnect everything. This is your Hall sensor. 5-prong to 5-prong there. Or what is this, 5? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is 5 to 5. And this one is actually one of the only ones in here that's labeled, so it's kind of funny. Does it need to go the other way? No, it should be bearings up. Make sure these pins aren't bent or anything. It'll be very difficult. All right, there's the 5, and then here's the 4. And I know you guys can't really see that. It's kind of hard to even just show those being plugged in, but we essentially had to disconnect these two right here, and then I just replugged them in. They are labeled slightly. And then of course you want to tuck them back into the cable trays right there. As best you can. It's not really that important because once the PTFE tubes kind of protect everything. And then we have these are the back plugs, you don't want to use those. And then the motor assembly. Oh, come here you. The motor assembly needs to go back up here and plug in right there. And just like that, everything's back to normal. And of course we'll do an AMS test. Now we just need to get the main housing unit back up here and tuck this back in. I don't remember if this was in a cable tie or not, but we're also going to replace the PTFE tube since we're here. And you guys should already know how to do this. I shouldn't have to explain how to replace them, but you know, we'll grab them anyways. I need 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be 2 longer ones-ish, or 2 shorter ones because they're closer. So I have 2 kits here, that's why it's kind of confusing. So there's 2 short, 2 long. There's a good one, so I'll put it over here. The shorter ones, okay, go in the middle ones, obviously. So usually I start in the middle ones because they hold down the cables and get them out of my way. So you're just going to want to push the PTFE tubes into each end. It's actually easier if you start with this end. I just usually forget that part. It's easier if you can push them down to the first bearing part, and then I like to use them to hold in the cables, just like that. And then the longer ones, of course, should go on the outside. So reach down and in, quick set. Use them to kind of hold some cables in place. There we go. These cables you want free. These are the ones from the original housing connection. You want to leave those ones free. And then this one over here is the hardest one to actually plug in. I think I got it, yep. And then plug her in. So it's got new tubes, new motor. Now we just need to flip it over. Everything looks good. Grab the housing, move it up here. And this is the point too, you probably want to check your, whatever you want to call it, your desiccant packs too that are usually in these. I don't use any. This is kind of a pain. You got to set these down in here. Push these electrical connections in first. I would show you how to plug them in, but it's pretty self-explanatory if I'm being honest. So there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 plug and a 2 plug. And then to get it back into place is kind of where it's a pain. You have to push this back tab down and under, and you can actually take and bend the shell out a little bit, and then it just falls right back in. Just like that. Make sure, I'll try and show you. Make sure that the PTFE tube plug goes over the hole of that PTFE disconnector, and then you can even give her a nice little plug and play test. This is an actual PTFE tube replacement tube, so we'll feed that in, make sure we get a nice connection, boom, and done. And now the only thing we have left to do is put in the original screws for the back. This is where you need your long extension. Put them in, and you're good to go. Now, this video is running on 30 minutes-ish, roughly, for me recording right now, and I'm probably not going to cut out too much of this. But I'm going to show you another issue that you can have on your AMS. So this now is fully repaired. She's good to go. I'll set her over there. And here is another issue you can have that you should check for when you get your PTFE tubes are overloaded or your AMS motor overloaded. So this one I've already disconnected everything and taken everything apart. That's how I figured this out. So this is what blowout looks like. So this is typically what causes your AMS motor to be overloaded. Yeah, and I'm not being gentle, but look at that. How it even lasted as long as it did, that is a full-blown failure on the PTFE tube. That's what was causing the AMS motor overload on this one. There we go. And this one was just about to blow through as well. So I was able to tell that it was my PTFE tubes because only one tube was failing, or one slot was failing, and all the others were working. And that told me that it was PTFE tube. The other one, I had already replaced my PTFE tubes and gotten to the point where that was not the problem, and I couldn't find the fix. So I assumed it was the motor, and I was correct. So let's retube this real quick, and then tell you guys thank you and send you on your way. And with that, I just wanted to say thank you everyone who's been supporting me. It's been pretty fun making YouTube videos again. Hopefully these videos help you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments section below. I'll answer all of them that I can. If you have any troubleshooting tips and tricks, make sure you put those down there for everybody to follow as well. I've been doing this a while. I've picked up some, and I can help you guys out if you need. And all these PTFE tubes are back in just like that. Flip her over, slap her in. Make sure you make that connection on the back. There's 2 of them. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know which videos you want to see next. Right now, I'm thinking of doing my next video as my A1 Mini maintenance schedules and checks. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. If you haven't, please subscribe already. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.